to the alleged Muda scam and the several setbacks that have come in for Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. In the latest breaking news update, as per highly placed sources, we're learning that the Enforcement Directorate is all set to probe the Chief Minister and the Muda scam, in the alleged Muda scam, and ECIR will be filed likely soon. That's the big breaking news update coming in at this hour. The Enforcement Directorate may book Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah in the money laundering case linked to the alleged Muda scam. We've seen the Karnataka High Court setback for Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, wherein his plea was dismissed, which essentially paved the way for his prosecution. And then, of course, the Lokayukta filing an FIR against Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. I want to go across to Arunima, joining us with more details. Arunima, soon enough, we could see Enforcement Directorate's heat mount on Chief Minister Siddaramaiah as well. What more details do we have?
Yes, the Enforcement Directorate suspects that there could have been laundering of the money, the proceeds of the crime. They have some specific inputs based on which I think legal opinion is being taken. The sense that we get is that they could register an ECIR soon, post which searches will be carried out. All those who have been named accused in the Lokayukta probe, including the Chief Minister, will be in the ambit of probe of the Enforcement Directorate. So the next 24 hours, you could see some activity as far as the ED's move in this case is concerned.
Tell us a little bit about the FIR registered by the Lokayukta police last week, Arunima, because much, has been dependent on the Karnataka High Court setback that came in from him and the other setback from the court, which essentially paved the way for this FIR.
See, what the Lokayukta police is probing is whether there was any violation of the Prevention of Corruption Act in this particular case. The allegations have been made against the Chief Minister and the Chief Minister's family as well. His wife is also under the scanner of the investigators.
Apologies for interrupting you there, Arunima. I'll come back to you in just a bit. Let me quickly go across to Mr. Priyank Kharge joining us on the phone line. Mr. Kharge, your first thoughts. This is going to be a big setback indeed for Chief Minister Siddaramaiah if the Enforcement Directorate books him in the alleged Muda scam.
So it's going as per the BJP script, right? Isn't it what they did? Isn't this what the standard operating procedure for the central government is? First they send in the CBI, they send in the IT, the ED, they try to cow down the opposition, and then they use the governor's office. I mean, the 8th of the चल के आया है.
But Mr. Kharge, your party has called it political witch hunt, political vendetta all throughout, wherein the courts have had their say, and it's the courts that have not ruled in favor of the Chief Minister so far.
Once again, for the benefit of the viewers and yourself, I would like to just reiterate what I have been saying in the next 15-20 seconds. The complainant who had got 3 sections against the CM, had moved the court against 3 sections. One is the 218 BNSS, Section 17A and Section 19 of the Prevention of Corruption Act. The Honorable High Court has dropped 218 and Section 19 of Prevention of Corruption Act, which is for prosecution. The only section that is made that was enforced is 17A, that allows an investigation. And for your kind information, the government had already put up an SIT under Mr. Desai, a retired High Court judge. So if the BJP or anybody had any evidence or a piece of paper, they should have gone and given it to the SIT, which they did not. So anyway, we are not shying away from the investigation. The Chief Minister has told that he is open for investigation. Let it go ahead. But now giving it to the ED is nothing but a scripted drama which is playing out in the country for the last 10 years. So there's nothing surprising.
The ED, Mr. Priyank Kharge, is empowered to summon any accused for questioning, even attach their assets during investigation. Time and again, we've seen the Congress, level very serious allegations against the BJP, talk about how they've allegedly misused agencies time and again. Is that a fear this time around as well?
Well, see, that is like I have been saying. This is the flow chart of the BJP. This is the standard operating procedures of the central government. Wherever their party is weak in any of the states, they use these agencies. They use the governor's office. And this is not the first time. You have seen it being used in Delhi, you have been seeing it in Jharkhand, you have seen it in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra. You have seen them change governments using CBI, IT and ED when they don't get people's mandate. So, it is a political fight. It's a fight of, it's a constitutional and legal battle. We are ready to face it.
Okay, all right. Many thanks, Mr. Priyank Kharge, for speaking to us here on CNN News 18. I want to go across to my colleague Arunima once again. Arunima, the Congress seems to be sending out a message the last few days, ever since the Karnataka High Court setback came in for Chief Minister Siddaramaiah first, that we're open to investigation. We're not shying away from investigation. And we do know that since this is a political conspiracy, the Chief Minister is going to come out clean. It's the ED probe which is worrying them because they say this is a BJP ploy.
Of course, look at the way things have gone ahead for opposition leaders every time enforcement has come into the picture. Look at Delhi. Arvind Kejriwal had to spend time in Tihar jail till the Supreme Court granted him bail. Look at Hemant Soren. Every case where the opposition leader was involved and the ED stepped in, things did not really go in their favor. So Congress party obviously is nervous and perturbed over the ED's investigation. But the fact remains that the ED ultimately will need evidence. Without the evidence, none of their charges will stand in the court of law. What is the prima facie evidence that we're looking at? The allegation that the Chief Minister, his wife and his brother-in-law, along with a private individual, all got into this alleged conspiracy. Private land was allegedly bought and gifted to the Chief Minister's wife. And this was not really a gift, this was a bribe. What happened to the proceeds of the crime? That's what the ED is trying to probe. They feel that this is a case where Prevention of Money Laundering Act charges are made out, sections are made out. Searches are likely to be carried out once the ECIR is registered. What is the kind of evidence that they recover? Then would follow the process of questioning. The private individual, the brother-in-law of the Chief Minister, the wife of the Chief Minister, and finally the Chief Minister himself could be called in for questioning. So it really will take its time to piece together the evidence. Until then, I think the Bharatiya Janata Party will keep the political heat on the Congress.
And they've as is been using the Karnataka High Court's judgment against the Chief Minister. But many thanks, Arunima, for joining us with the latest. I want to go across to Harish as well. Harish, the BJP has time and again said that, look, you called out the governor's action as biased, but the courts have given a nod to governor's prosecution, the sanction to prosecute. And hence the BJP says all is not well. Investigations must take place in this very case. Now, what do we expect going forward? What are the reactions you've picked up so far with this big news coming in that the Enforcement Directorate may probe the alleged Muda scam?
Well, one aspect has been that the BJP will now say that somebody being probed by the ED has no moral right to continue as the Chief Minister. They're saying it's not just morality, it's also about the image of the state, that a state called as progressive, Karnataka state, will have a Chief Minister who's being probed by the ED. There's a parallel investigation that's going on by the Karnataka Lok Ayukta. In this backdrop, can he continue as the Chief Minister? That's a constant question that the BJP has been raising. And now, if the logical process follows, then at some point in time, you will see the ED having to summon Siddaramaiah for questioning. And the BJP will then up the ante once again, saying that he's a prime accused, whether it's the Lokayukta FIR or this investigation of the ED, and then he's being called in for questioning. Should the state carry this disrepute of having somebody of this nature continue as Chief Minister, and this will mount pressure on Siddaramaiah.
That political heat is only going to escalate in the state of Karnataka. Stay on with us, Harish and Arunima. I want to quickly take in a word from BJP's Ashok Gowda joining us on the phone line. A very good evening to you, Mr. Gowda. What do you make of this big news coming in? As per highly placed sources, we're learning that the Enforcement Directorate may probe the alleged Muda scam.
Yeah, it should probe, because Siddaramaiah set a wrong precedent of the 50-50 allocation even for the retrospective acquisitions. And so many people have been involved in this scam. Almost around 100 realtors have been involved, and more than a dozen of politicians have been involved. And with this, there are 5,000 sites amounting to around 4,000 to 5,000 crores. Is been Karnataka's rightful owners' money is been swallowed away by these people only for setting a precedence by Siddaramaiah. Siddaramaiah has definitely done a mistake. With him, Bhairati Suresh has done a mistake and others have also done a mistake in this. And two officials should not be spared. In fact, they should have been suspended or they should have been dismissed. But Siddaramaiah has given them the pulp postings even after, in spite of getting caught red-handedly in this Muda scam. As well as ED and CBI. The way Siddaramaiah handled the precedence of closing down the Lokayukta and setting up an ACB, same way like last week, he said blanket approval for CBI has been withdrawn. Only case by case we are going to give. This is also a wrong precedent set by Siddaramaiah. Siddaramaiah is known for setting a wrong precedent
Mr.
even
Gowda,
in the redo cases.
my limited question to you is, and we did have a chance to speak to Mr. Priyank Kharge after, getting this breaking news update. Mr. Kharge says this is the same old BJP trick from the same old BJP book, and this is an attempt once again to corner the opposition in the country and silence them.
Believe me or not, see, Congress probably has done this when they were in ruling. In Kannada, I will quote this, then translate it. Kamalekanam Lukvelaldi, meaning to say the person who has a jaundice sees the entire world with the yellow eyes. So, Kharge probably, he knows probably more. When the Congress was in power, they always targeted the opposition. BJP is not doing that. Apparently, Priyanka Kharge should know that so many people, if they have done a wrong thing, whether they are in BJP or any other party, have also been charged with the CBI, LT and ED. That is not in public because they don't disclose it. Whereas Congress leaders and the people like Arvind Kejriwal or the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, they go to public saying that we have been their wrongdoings. They want to cover it in front of the media and public, and that is why they come to public and to media. Otherwise, the people who are in BJP, if they have done wrong thing, yes, they will say, I have to pay the tax, I will pay. And if there is something wrong which has been done by a BJP person, let him be in jail. That is what BJP leaders say, that they don't go and show it off in front of the media. But whereas Siddaramaiah and their patalam, including the Priyanka Kharge and other people, they think that they have not done anything wrong. Let them answer it. In fact, the Kharge's file has been given by the Siddaramaiah and Siddaramaiah's file has been given by Kharge and DK Shivakumar. That also they should know.
Okay, those are a lot of allegations being leveled by you, Mr. Gowda. But many thanks. Appreciate you taking out your time and speaking to us here on CNN News 18. Only time will tell which way this goes. But a quick comment before we move on. My colleague Arunima continues to stay on with us. Arunima, with regards to the Enforcement Directorate case, which may now come up, what are the grounds that the ED perhaps is going to cite in wanting to probe the case?
So their obvious suspicion is money laundering, and we are giving indications that PMLA charges would follow in the ECIR. But the problem for the Enforcement Directorate would be, and if it comes to an arrest, a big ticket arrest in this case, the defense could turn around and say, where is the predicate offense? Predicate offense means the main, corruption charge that usually the CBI probes. And once the CBI has finished off its probe on the Prevention of Corruption Act angle, then the ED takes over the charge that because this corruption happened, we suspect that the money, the proceed of the crime was laundered away. Like, BJP spokesperson was pointing out, Karnataka has withdrawn the general consent, so CBI can't step into this matter directly till a court of law hands over the case to CBI. So the defense could use that argument. However, a Lokayukta probe has been ordered, and ED says that it is on solid legal footing in deciding to look at this matter.
Okay, Arunima, many thanks for joining us with all those details. We'll come back to you as and when we have more details on this big story from Karnataka. For the moment, quickly shifting our attention to Jammu and Kashmir. Remember, tomorrow is when we will witness the third phase of polling, but the developments taking place in the Middle East have sparked not just protests but a political war of words in Jammu and Kashmir as well. We've seen protests and counter-protests both on part of those who are advocating for Hassan Nasrallah, the former Hezbollah chief, and those who are voicing their opinions against this kind of support. Bajrang Dal took to streets to protest against PDP and the National Conference, but there's lots more that's happening. The BJP levelling a very serious charge against mainstream parties of Jammu and Kashmir of indulging in vote bank politics, of shedding crocodile tears for a man such as Hassan Nasrallah. And on the other hand, we have The likes of PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti call off her party's campaign for a whole day. Her daughters also come out to call Nasrallah Sahab. And then there's another controversial comment that's come in from one of the NC MPs who have equated Hassan Nasrallah to a martyr. Those are the kind of comments coming in to which BJP has raised strong objections. We first up listen into the host of reactions coming in.
जानते हैं हसन नसरुल्लाह साहब जो थे उनको कल कैसे इजराइल ने मारा, असैसिनेट किया, वो शहीद हुए। तो मैंने तब भी अपना कैंपेन स्टार्ट करने से पहले उनका भी जिक्र किया। वी फील वेरी सैड क्योंकि उनने जहां भी दुनिया में खास तौर से गाज़ा में जुल्म सितम हुआ उसके खिलाफ उनने एक्शन लिया, बात की। सो आवर हार्ट्स आर फुल ऑफ सैडनेस।
Sir, how do you see what is happening in Palestine? And then you look at how people have responded to in Kashmir in terms of carrying out rallies. There are men, women who have marched on the streets of Srinagar and in other rural parts of Kashmir where they are in solidarity with the people of Palestine.
People of Jammu and Kashmir do connect with the people of Palestine on multiple levels. They connect with them most importantly on human sentiments because they understand the sufferings of the people of Palestine. And this assassination has brought a great deal of damage to the resistance that the people of Palestine and Lebanon offer to the oppressing regime of Israel. So any resistance that was offered from the people of Palestine and resistance is respected by the people of Jammu and Kashmir in particular. So this assassination, this killing or this sacrifice of Hassan Nasrallah symbolizes that resistance. So in solidarity with the people of Palestine and with the people of Lebanon.
Political leaders in Kashmir are offering crocodile tears because they haven't spoken anything about rest of the killings or termed it as a political stunt. How do you respond to these allegations by the BJP?
I mean, they'll say all kinds of things that they would want to. I mean, people of India are aware of their theatrics. But it's not about BJP. We do not want to, satisfy BJP. We are not playing out for BJP and we are not playing out to BJP. So this is something which is more than politics. It is sentiments. It is moral obligation for us to stand with the people who are oppressed. So it's not politics. It's human understanding.
देखिए महबूबा मुफ्ती हिंदी गठबंधन है। जब हमारे हिंदू का ऊपर आक्रमण होते हैं, कभी महबूबा मुफ्ती अपना कार्यक्रम को कैंसिल किया था क्या? आज हर बार हमास का कोई लीडर मरता है, प्रियंका गांधी रोना शुरू कर देते हैं। लेकिन अगर भारत में कोई आतंकवादी हमले में हिंदू मरते हैं, शहीद होता है, क्या उनके लिए वो रोता है? ये लोग हिंदू विरोधी है और कुछ नहीं है, उनका डीएनए ही हिंदू विरोधी है।
I want to go across to my colleague Ishan Mani joining us with more details. Ishan, though campaigning for Jammu and Kashmir elections concluded yesterday, that is on Sunday, but the political heat that each of the stakeholders concerned continue to mount on one another, citing the conflict in Middle East is also turning out to be extremely crucial. Give us a sense of what's happened in the last 24 hours quickly.
Well, last 24 hours have been happening. One, there has been kind of campaigning from two prominent faces in Kashmir. One member Mufti, the former chief minister, and one sitting parliament member, Aga Ruhullah Mehdi, who is the National Conference leader. He also ended his campaigning a day prior to the campaigning ends officially. There have been protests on the streets in certain pockets, peaceful protests, though the police have made arrangements to ensure that since the polling is going on, there is no effect on the rallies or any such rally should not affect those particular polls are going to take place tomorrow. But they have been eventful. BJP has been claiming that these are crocodile tears being shed by Member Mufti, while Member Mufti has been hitting back, saying that Israel has carried out a genocide in Palestine on the people, and she had said that she is in solidarity with the killing of Hassan Nasrallah, and that's why she cancelled her campaigning on the final day of the polls. Now, National Conference's Vice President Umar Abdullah and the key face has also said that the Prime Minister and the global leader should press upon the Israeli Prime Minister to end the shelling and bombing in Lebanon and Palestine to ensure that the peace prevails in the region and the region at large stays peaceful. because if it escalates, it's going to have a global impact on everybody's life, and that's why the leaders are very concerned about it. The BJP claims that there's a politics going on which concerns the vote bank of the PDP and National Conference, while the National Conference has been clear that this is about sentiments and not about the vote bank. So this may not immediately, give any party a benefit, but the BJP will definitely try to ensure that they're able to maximize their seat count in Jammu, because whatever seats are going to polls tomorrow, majority of them in Jammu region are being dominated in the previous polls by the BJP. So they would want that to be carried forward, and they would want that momentum to gain there so that they could emerge victorious on the maximum number of seats in the Jammu region.
Okay, Shan, many thanks for joining us with all those details. Of course, the BJP highlighting concerns on how this is a pattern that's emerging. Several mainstream politicians have repeatedly sympathized with terror causes, and that's what is being witnessed once again in Jammu and Kashmir this election season. We play out more reactions coming in.
हम तो वैसे भी इजराइल की तरफ से जो लगातार पिछले 1 साल से बमबारी और ताकत का इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, हमने तो उसकी मुखालफत की है। दुनिया की ताकतों को इजराइल पे दबाव बनाए रख के वहां पे बेगुनाह लोगों की मौत उसको बंद करना चाहिए, चाहे वो गाजा में हो, चाहे लेबनान में हो, चाहे कहीं और हो। जो कल हुआ उसके बाद ऐसा लगता है जैसे पूरे क्षेत्र में अब जंग के बादल जो है नजर आ रहे हैं। हिंदुस्तान की हुकूमत को, हिंदुस्तान के वजीर आजम को, बाकी मुल्कों के लीडरान को इजराइल पर दबाव बनाए रख के वहां दोबारा अमन कायम करने की मुकम्मल कोशिश करनी चाहिए।
दलों का चेहरा भी सामने आया है जो आज तक जम्मू कश्मीर में आतंकवादियों का, अलगाववादियों का और पथराव करने वालों का समर्थन सहयोग करते रहे। आज अगर दुनिया भर में कहीं आतंकवाद के खिलाफ कार्रवाई होती है तो नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस, पीडीपी और कांग्रेस जैसी पार्टियां उनके समर्थन में नजर आती हैं। उनको गाजा तो नजर आता है, लेकिन ढाका में हिंदुओं की हत्याएं नजर नहीं आती। उनको जम्मू कश्मीर के हजारों लोगों की हत्याएं याद नहीं आती, जिन मासूमों को, निर्दोषों को इस आतंकवाद के चलते उनकी हत्या हुई थी। इससे बड़ा दुर्भाग्य क्या होगा कि ये राजनीतिक दल तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति के चलते चलते इस तरह से अपनी रैलियों को रद्द भी करते हैं, आतंकवाद का समर्थन भी करते हैं। ये लोकतंत्र के पक्ष में नहीं है, आतंकवाद के समर्थक हैं।
देखें, इस पे जो उमर साहब की स्टेटमेंट है, उन्होंने अपील की है अपने मुल्क के प्राइम मिनिस्टर से और सारी दुनिया के ऐसे लोगों से जो बड़ी जिम्मेदार किस्म के लोग हैं दुनिया के अंदर, सारे ममालिक के सरबराहों से उमर साहब ने, कि इस मामले में उनको इंटरवीन करना चाहिए और कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि इसका कोई ऐसा हल निकले जिससे ये इंसानों की जानों का ज़िया यानी नुकसान ख़त्म हो जाए।
Well, these protests, these political reactions in Jammu and Kashmir are a result of the conflict being witnessed in Middle East. Remember, Israel has launched a series of attacks on Lebanon targeting the Hezbollah, but it's gone much beyond that. They're not just targeting the military infrastructure of Hezbollah in the latest, but also those operating for Hamas in Lebanon. In fact, one of the Hamas leaders have also been targeted, eliminated by the Israeli forces. This is Fateh Sharif, the head of Lebanon branch of Hamas. Along with his family, he's been eliminated in the Israeli strikes. In fact, interestingly, the deputy chief of Hezbollah has also addressed the organization. He says, the armed group, he says that we are also prepared for a ground incursion on part of Israel, which they see coming in the next few hours perhaps. Interestingly, a lot of concerns are being raised over the manner in which this may just become a wider conflict in Middle East, and US President Joe Biden, keeping that in mind, has spoken of diplomatic efforts that he may be going ahead with the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Listen in.
Yes, I will be talking to him, and I'll tell you what I say to him when I talk to him.
Yes, sir. Can an all-out war in the Middle East be avoided?
It has to be. We really have to avoid it. And we've already taken precautions relative to our embassies and personnel who want to leave. And but We're not there yet, but we're working like hell with the French and many others.
The last few hours, we've seen Israel systematically break down the command center, control center of Hezbollah. In fact, top commanders of Hezbollah have been eliminated in these Israeli strikes. We get you more details in this special report. Take a look.
Ambulances were seen rushing through streets in southern Lebanon on Sunday as Israel pressed Hezbollah with more strikes after killing the Iran-backed group's leader Syed Hassan Nasrallah in an escalating military campaign. Israel's attacks have dealt a stunning succession of blows to Hezbollah after almost a year of cross-border fire, killing much of its leadership and revealing gaping security holes. Also Sunday, video posted to social media showed a large fireball and smoke plume above the port city of Hodeidah in Yemen. Israel said it hit targets there in response to missile attacks by the Iran-backed Houthis on Israel in recent days. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said, quote, "Our message is clear. For us, no place is too far." White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said all-out war with Hezbollah or Iran would not help residents of northern Israel return to their homes. He said diplomacy remains the right path. In Iran, which helped create Hezbollah in the early 1980s, senior figures mourn the death of Nasrallah. The country's interior minister said such assassinations, blind and covert assassinations, will have no result for the survival of this regime. Nasrallah's body was recovered intact from the site of Friday's strike, a medical source and a security source told Reuters on Sunday. Hezbollah has not yet said when his funeral will be held.
Whether or not Iran will also be looking at deploying its troops in Gaza or Lebanon could be a turning point in this conflict. So far, Iran hasn't expressed any such intentions. We're tracking that very closely. A quick commercial break for now. We'll be right back with more.
The search for
Ambulances were seen rushing through streets in southern Lebanon on Sunday as Israel pressed Hezbollah with more strikes after killing the Iran-backed group's leader Syed Hassan Nasrallah in an escalating military campaign. Israel's attacks have dealt a stunning succession of blows to Hezbollah after almost a year of cross-border fire, killing much of its leadership and revealing gaping security holes. Also Sunday, video posted to social media showed a large fireball and smoke plume above the port city of Hodeidah in Yemen. Israel said it hit targets there in response to missile attacks by the Iran-backed Houthis on Israel in recent days. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said, quote, "Our message is clear. For us, no place is too far." White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said all-out war with Hezbollah or Iran would not help residents of northern Israel return to their homes. He said diplomacy remains the right path. In Iran, which helped create Hezbollah.
Welcome back. Do remember a case had been registered against Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and others over allegations of extortion through the now scrapped electoral bond scheme. And in the latest breaking news update, we're learning that the Karnataka High Court has stayed the investigation against Nirmala Sitharaman and the other BJP leaders mentioned in the complaint in the electoral bonds case. Let me quickly go across to Harish joining us with more details. Harish, tell us a little bit about what we're learning from the Karnataka High Court.
Well, the Karnataka High Court has given a stay on any further investigation into this FIR that was registered at the Tilak Nagar police station. Remember, this was done after a special court last week ordered FIR because there were petitioners who approached the court and they said that there was quid pro quo. Money was taken from two companies. One is Aurobindo Pharma and the other Vedanta. And this was Nirmala Sitharaman, in his official capacity as the finance minister, using agencies under her, had extorted money from these companies, and the special court had ordered a FIR. Today, the court was approached seeking a stay. The court has given a stay and adjourned the matter. So, a huge relief to Nirmala Sitharaman, and several others were named in this FIR.
Okay, Harish, many thanks for joining us with that breaking news update coming in. Quickly shifting our attention now to another very interesting response that's coming from the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Tony Blair, who's spoken of India's growing stature. Let's give you a lowdown on what's been said by the politician. He says by the middle of this century, there will be three superpowers effectively, names America, China, and probably India. So that's the latest comment coming in from UK's former Prime Minister Tony Blair. It's a very interesting comment, and it does remind me of what was said not too long ago by Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he was in the United States of America addressing the Indian diaspora. He said when India sends out a message, the world follows. India is being followed by world powers. I want to go across to Sanjay Suri joining us on the broadcast with more. Very interesting that this comment is coming from Mr. Tony Blair, recognizing India's growing stature and also the kind of position India has been able to solidify for itself. Sanjay.
Yes, this is a remark that Tony Blair made in Singapore at a meeting that he addressed. And this is entirely in line with the views of a lot of leaders around the world. Just a couple of days back, we had President Macron saying very emphatically that India must be made a permanent member of the UN Security Council. This is a recognition that is gaining ground around the world and doing so very rapidly. In fact, Tony Blair went further. He said, of course, that it will be the US, China, and probably India. I use the word probably, but definitely India as the third of the superpowers by the middle of the century. He also suggested that a lot of the other countries and that all other countries begin to now start building relations with these three superpowers, two superpowers already in effect, and the third potentially India, that they should start building relations now with these countries. This is with a view to positioning themselves to find their own place in the world with reference to these three superpowers.
Oh yes, absolutely. India does have, as is, ambitious economic plans in place. But this is Tony Blair saying that he sees India alongside China and America in the superpower club by 2050. Sanjay, many thanks for joining us with that comment. We are into a very short break. We'll be right back with more. Keep watching.
The search for the
1980s, senior figures mourn the death of Nasrallah. The country's interior minister said such assassinations, blind and covert assassinations, will have no result for the survival of this regime. Nasrallah's body was recovered intact from the site of Friday's strike, a medical source and a security source told Reuters on Sunday. Hezbollah has not yet said when his funeral will be held.
Are you going to talk to Prime Minister Netanyahu? You haven't had anything to say to him?
Yes, I will be talking to him, and I'll tell you what I say to him when I talk to him.
Yes, sir. Can an all-out war in the Middle East be avoided?
It has to be. We really have to avoid it. And we've already taken precautions relative to our embassies and personnel who want to leave, but we're not there yet, but we're working like hell with the French and many others.
Welcome back. All through today, we've seen an heated exchange between the BJP and Congress. It all began with the Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge's rally in Jammu and Kashmir yesterday. The Home Minister was quick to take to social media the manner in which Mallikarjun Kharge spoke of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, the BJP says it's absolutely distasteful and disgraceful, the manner in which Mallikarjun Kharge spoke of the Prime Minister in health, with regards to health matters. This is when Mallikarjun Kharge yesterday, when he was briefly not feeling well during the rally, took a pause, came back and then said, "I will not die till Modi is ousted." So that's what was said by Mallikarjun Kharge, and the BJP taking strong note of the same. This is how it's playing out. And first up, listen in to what Mallikarjun Kharge had said during that rally.
स्टेटहुड जरूर देंगे और उसके लिए हम जरूर लड़ेंगे, चाहे कुछ भी हो। मैं ऐसा ही छोड़ने वाला नहीं। अब मेरे को तो 83 इयर्स चल रहे, इतना जल्दी मरने वाला नहीं हूँ। जब तक मोदी को नहीं हटाएंगे तब तक मैं जिंदा ही रहूँगा, आपकी बात सुनूंगा, आपके लिए लड़ूंगा।
मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे का ये कहना कि मैं तब तक नहीं मरूंगा जब तक प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी को सत्ता से नहीं हटाऊंगा।
देखिए, कुंठित कांग्रेसी कुनबे का संकट और कंटक ही यही है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी जो है और उसके लोग जो है वो दिल से हाफ और दिमाग से साफ हो गए हैं। अब जो पार्टी दिल से हाफ और दिमाग से साफ हो, दिल से छोटी और दिमाग की खोटी हो, उसके इसी तरह के बहके और बिगड़े बोल सुनाई पड़ेंगे। एक चीज़। दूसरी चीज़ कि उनको एक बात समझना चाहिए कि जो लोग दूसरों की विदाई में अपनी शहनाई का सपना देखते हैं, उनके सपने बार बार टूटते हैं, बार बार चकनाचूर होते हैं। तो इसलिए जो है वो अगर दूसरों की विदाई में अपनी शहनाई का सपना देखते रहेंगे तो उन्हें बहुत बार इंतज़ार करना पड़ेगा, दशकों इंतज़ार करना पड़ेगा।
लेकिन जब से खड़गे साहब ने ये बयान दिया, उसके बाद गृह मंत्री ने भी उसका जवाब दिया और अब हम देख रहे हैं कांग्रेस की तरफ से लगातार निशाना साधा जा रहा है। वो ये उनसे कहा जा रहा है कि वो बात कर रहे हैं खड़गे जी की, उसकी मणिपुर पे क्यों नहीं कुछ बोलते हैं और इतनी सारी चीज़ें देश में हो रही हैं, उस पर क्यों नहीं बात करते हैं और इसके लिए कह रहे हैं।
देखिए, पहली बात ये कि कांग्रेस पार्टी को अपने रटे रटाए स्क्रिप्ट से बाहर आना चाहिए। अब जो एक्सपायर स्क्रिप्ट है, एक्सपायर जो है वो बासी जो है वो इस तरह के मुद्दों को लेकर के कि पता लगा कि बाबा आदम और हवा के ज़माने का कोई मुद्दा ले आएंगे, कहेंगे संघ ने ये कहा था आज से 100 साल पहले, इस पे जवाब दे दो पहले आप।
All right, I want to go back to our top story about Israel taking out Hassan Nasrallah, the Hezbollah chief, in an airstrike. 80 cluster bombs used to take out a man who has tormented not just Israel but also neighboring countries like Syria and Iraq. I want to go across to Ms. Orly Weitzman. She's the Consul General of Israel to southern India. Thank you very much, Ms. Weitzman, for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. So both Iran, who are the puppeteers of Hezbollah, and Hezbollah itself have reacted to the airstrike, killing Hassan Nasrallah, and said that they have vowed revenge against Israel. How would you and the government of Israel respond to this?
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me here this evening. I think that Israel has shown that it's willing to do anything needed in order to protect its citizens. So it's very unfortunate if Hezbollah and Iran decide to do anything that might jeopardize the safety of Israelis and the safety of Israel, because Israel will always do whatever it takes in order to ensure the safety of civilians in Israel. And that I think they should think about that and think about the implications of what they're saying, and hopefully they will realize that the best way to end the situation is to put down the arms and to implement Resolution 1701, which basically disarms Hezbollah and pushes it further north for the Litani, so that both Israelis and Lebanese citizens who are also very much affected by this horrible terrorist group can live in peace.
But Ms. Weitzman, they aren't doing anything but that. They are continuing the barrage of rockets, missiles. Some even ballistic missiles have been fired into Israel. Of course, a lot of them have been intercepted by Israel's air defense systems. This whole plan of resettling about 60,000 of the northern populations in Israel, how is that going to happen? Because the barrage of rocket fire and missiles is not stopped, despite the killing of Hassan Nasrallah.
So I think we saw the beginning of that, and I think that's the main explanation to what we've been seeing in the past few days and the activity that Israel has in the north. Israel, like I said, it has the most an interest or duty even to make sure that its citizens live safely and that people can go home. It's been almost a year now that people have had to leave their homes. I don't know if you can imagine, if the viewers can imagine what it's like to suddenly leave your house, all your belongings, and go for a period of who knows how long to leave your house without being able to return. This is something that's insufferable. Again, Israel is doing what it needs to do and will keep doing what it needs to do. So if there's no diplomatic solution, as Israel would like to have, then there will be other solutions to make sure that the Israelis can return to their homes and that they can live safely.
And that is one of the concerns, isn't it? That, I mean, including your good friends in the United States, some folks here in India are saying that this is perhaps at the very precipice of a wider regional war. There is a real fear that Israel will not be able to achieve its objective, which is to resettle the northern population without a ground invasion. How would you speak to that fear?
I think that we have to see what will come ahead. And know that Israel is prepared to do whatever it takes. I mean, it's something that we'll have to see in the coming days. And I really pray that these terrorist groups and the proxies of Iran and this terrorist country of Iran will come to their senses and realize that whatever if they don't let Israeli live in peace, then Israel will have to do what it takes. And I'm really hoping that they will come to their senses in that matter.
Well, what about a direct confrontation with Iran? Because the stakes have now been raised by Israel with the killing of Hassan Nasrallah. Do you think a direct confrontation between Tehran and Tel Aviv, the region or the rest of the world, would be able to deal with the consequences of that?
So Israel is prepared for whatever happens. Israel, I feel like I keep trying to make the same message. Israel doesn't want escalation and would really like for things to settle down. But if Israel is attacked by Iran or any of its proxies, it will have to make sure, again, do whatever it can to make sure that peace is maintained. And I think Israel has already shown its capabilities. Iran already attacked Israel in April, if you remember, and Israel retaliated in a very minor way just to show the capabilities of what Israel is capable of. And I think Iran received the message, and I hope Iran received the message, because the capabilities, Israel capabilities are very strong, and Israel will do whatever is necessary to make sure that its civilians are safe.
Ms. Weitzman, what is the end game here? Because you have this war with Hamas, which is approaching its first year now. It's going to be 1 year on October 7th next week. You have now a new front that's been opened with Hezbollah in the north. Yes, Hassan Nasrallah is dead, but the infrastructure, the weaponry of Hezbollah as a terrorist outfit continues very much intact. So you have that second front open. The hostages, over 100 of them, are still in the custody of Hamas. How is Israel going to end all of this?
So Israel, again, this is not something that Israel started. 7th of October was thrust upon us, and it was one of the most horrible things Israel has seen since the Holocaust, basically, and since its existence. So it was something that Israel did not choose. And since a day later, the 8th of October, it's being attacked by the Hezbollah in the north and by Houthis. So none of this was Israel's choice at any time. So I think the main question is, when will the region accept, when will Iran accept, when will the Hezbollah accept Israel's right to exist and to live peacefully? That's when things will finally settle down long term in the Middle East.
And I do want to ask you one final question. I know diplomats generally don't comment on affairs of other countries, especially when you're being hosted by that country, but there are political parties, politicians here in India who have eulogized Hassan Nasrallah, made him out into something of a hero for the Muslim community. I'm talking about the PDP, the National Conference. These are primarily political parties in Kashmir. How would you react to what they've been saying?
So I think that any leader or any responsible leader knows that the most important thing to a leader is taking care of the people that it leads. And I think any leader that understands leadership and understands the importance of safety would understand why Israel is acting the way it is. I don't want to make comment, especially not about things that are happening in northern India. That's not that part of India that I'm in charge of, and I'm less into the affairs that happen there. But I know that people that I meet here in South India most of them are very sympathetic people. I think when I have conversations with people here, they understand. People in India, or the people that I met so far in India, most of them take the time to learn about the situation and realize that it's a very complicated situation, because I feel that many times people don't have the patience to learn about the history, to learn about really what the real threats are, and form an opinion without having all the facts. But from my experience here in South India, most of the people that I personally meet with are very sympathetic and really understand, and have taken the time to understand and think about what's going on in the region, and that's why they have the sympathy towards Israel.
All right, Ms. Orly Weitzman, thank you very much, the Consul General of Israel to Southern India. Thank you for joining us. We'll take a quick break here on the program, but news and updates continue right on the other side.
Incisive and unbiased news stories every single day.
Now at a brand new time. Brostax, now at 8 p.m. Brought to you by
Welcome back. Let's talk about the Supreme Court reprimanding Andhra Pradesh government and raising questions over the manner in which the state government had made some very serious claims around the Tirupati Laddu being adulterated. In fact, the Supreme Court did say in as many words that at least the gods should be kept out of politics, and thereby asked the Solicitor General to assist the court in deciding whether the state-appointed SIT should continue investigating the case or an independent agency should conduct the investigations. Before we talk about the several observations that were made by the Supreme Court, here's a political reaction on the story. Listen in.
लास्ट गवर्नमेंट में 2019 से 2024 तक कौन सा गवर्नमेंट था वाइएस जगन का, वो गवर्नमेंट ने पूरा करप्शन कर दिया तिरुमला में। पवित्र पुण्य क्षेत्र तिरुमला तिरुपति में मिनिमम केस अभी 50,000 करोड़ तक पूरा स्कैम कर दिया। लड्डू में, प्रसाद में, टिकट में, टेंडर में, इंजीनियरिंग वर्क में, सब में कर दिया। अभी गवर्नमेंट हमारा जनसेना टीडीपी का बीजेपी का गवर्नमेंट आया था ना, वो आने से वो क्या क्या स्कैम किया पूरा बाहर निकालने के लिए हम तो एक विजिलेंस इंक्वायरी लगाया। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में ये बिल लगाया। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी और वी सुब्बा रेड्डी सब लोग कोर्ट में बिल लगाया। उसका आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हियरिंग है। टीटीडी में कितना स्कैम किया पूरा स्कैम बाहर हम निकालेंगे, सब लोग को जेल को भेजेंगे, ये तो पक्का है।
I want to go across to my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar joining us with more. Ananya, this seems to be a big setback for the Andhra Pradesh government, with the Supreme Court saying in as many words, if an investigation was ordered by the TDP, by the Andhra Pradesh government, what was the need to go to the press to reveal all of those details in public domain? Tell us a little bit about what you made of the Supreme Court's hearing today.
Well, definitely, it's a clear slamming coming in for, in fact, the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, wherein, in fact, the Supreme Court has gone on to say very clearly that what was the need for, in fact, Naidu to go to the press when SIT was already investigating the matter. In fact, the Supreme Court also stated that what must be kept out of politics. And very clearly at this particular point of time, this is something that would become, in fact, a point of political debate that today, the Supreme Court also stated that prima facie does not appear at this stage that, there is some direct evidence which suggests that there was some kind of a mixture, there was use, which was adulterated and was allegedly, something that could hurt the sentiments of the people. In fact, the Supreme is also going on to very clearly point out that, this is a matter with regards to the religious sentiments of crores of people, and there should have been certain kind of a constraint that should have been, exercised before making such a statement by a person who's already on a very high constitutional post in that state.
Okay, Ananya, many thanks for joining us with the latest. Let's see how this proceeds going forward. For now, shifting our attention to a big hint which has been dropped by Home Minister Amit Shah. He says that the Waqf Amendment Bill will be tabled in the winter session of the Parliament. Remember, when the government made this big announcement in the first place, we saw a lot of political reaction, a lot of criticism coming in for the NDA government. But Home Minister Amit Shah, while addressing a rally earlier today in Gurgaon, put a full stop to all of those concerns, said that it is absolutely false that this amendment will create a divide in the society. We're picking up some big reactions on this story. Listen in.
ये वक्फ बोर्ड के कानून से बहुत परेशानी है ना, एक कानून को एक शीत सत्र में हम सुधार कर सीधा करने का काम कर देंगे।
जनाब, हम लोग अपनी तरफ से पहले बिल को देखेंगे, क्योंकि ये जॉइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी के पास गई है। इस पर ज़रूर कुछ ना कुछ कहा जाएगा। जब ये आएगी हाउस में, उसके बाद हम देखेंगे इसमें क्या है। उसके मुताबिक हम लोग इंडिया गठबंधन में है, जो सबका फैसला होगा हम इकट्ठे उनके साथ फैसला करेंगे।
The government, of course, has maintained that this bill aims to curtail the arbitrary powers being misused by the Waqf board. That's all from me in this edition of Nation at 5. Over to my colleague Poonam, joining you live Plain Speak.
Razor sharp and factual news stories from beginning to end. Now at a brand new time. The Hard Facts, now at 9 p.m.
Putting Bharat's interests first, always.
Now at a brand new time. The Right Stand, now at 7 p.m.
Good evening, you're watching Plain Speak here on CNN News 18 with me, Poonam Burde. Over the weekend, an Israeli airstrike in Beirut eliminated Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. It was the culmination of Israel's war on terror and it has split the Arab world. Those tremors were being felt here in India as well. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti is at the receiving end of backlash for calling off her election campaign in solidarity with what she called was martyrdom of Hassan Nasrallah. She said she stands with the people of Palestine and Lebanon in this hour of immense grief and exemplary resistance. This was a sentiment that was echoed by another former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah. He said that the government of India should pressurize Israel to bring peace because Israel's actions over the last 1 year have to be condemned. Now, these actions include eliminating those who've spilled blood of innocents for decades together.